guys, you've probably seen me upload a bunch of tutorials for guitar and you were feeling like you were missing out. I don't want you to miss out, so I'm going to give you a little tutorial on how to play this song on the mandolin. So before we even start, let's look at the time signature. We're in 4/4 time, nice and friendly. Lots of T's in this one, lots of crotchets or quarter notes. Nothing too difficult, to be honest. I think you're going to be absolutely fine, and you'll probably find it really easy to sight read this one if you've followed any of my videos before. So it's very repetitive, so that first idea is going to come again later, which is great. And you'll notice on my score I've got some blue notes, so let me explain. If you play this straight, you don't need them, but if you want to imitate the guitar sound, that kind of slide that you get, then you'll use the blue notes. It makes it slightly harder, I'm not gonna lie, but it does give it something. I don't know, it gives it a little bit more character, makes it less robotic, so you might prefer to use these blue notes, in which case, go a lot slower than I just did. Go nice and steady, so nice. Something like that to start with. Reason being that eventually you'll get so into this you'll start to tremolo it. And if you go too fast, it's really, really hard. So go nice and slow so that you mean every single note you play and you enjoy it more. So there we go. Intro over. Let's talk about what we're actually doing. So we're going to go 5, 2, all on our D string, and then either over to the A string, open, or 7th fret on the D string because it is an A as well. So they are identical notes. It's a handy way to check your mandolin's in tune. So you either slide up from that 2, in which case, let's talk about that. If we did slide, you'd probably be sliding on your index finger, which is good because it's a strong finger. So let's do that again. You'd go 5, 2, slide, back to 4, and then land on 5 for the next bar. Can you see that 5 takes up the whole bar? So that 5 is a semi-breve or a, ooh, what's that in American? I'll fill it in the editing. But it's worth 4 beats. In other words, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or eventually you'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4. So although these might seem boring to start with, they allow you the space to tremolo later. So leave the spaces in. So let's do that one more time with the slide. I'll count you in so you can play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, slide. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again, because it repeats anyway later on in the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course you can use the open note if you prefer. It's a lot easier, in which case you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But bear in mind, I find it harder to go between strings when I'm tremoloing, and you might as well. So that I'll show you what it sounds like. Here we go. I'll count you in case you want to join in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's okay, but I do have to think about it more. I've got to get my hand position bang on, otherwise I might get it a bit chunky. I don't know, it can sound a bit choppy sometimes, a little bit robotic almost. It depends on the player, sometimes it depends on the day. So, and like I said, that is a heck of a lot easier to use that open note, so you might prefer it. Let's look at the next 2 bars then. So you can see it starts the same. And then you have the option of sliding up from here to 9th, which is a very long way, I'll admit. And on my mandolin, it's not got a dot on it, which throws me all the time, guys, because on the guitar it does have a dot. So I'm always looking at that, thinking it's 9th, and it's not, it's 10th. So there you go, it's the one before the dot, which is 9. And again, that's so that you'll get that nice je ne sais quoi, you know, that sort of slidey guitar feel to it. And it takes a bit more concentration because you've got to be like, okay, where am I going? You've got to kind of look at the neck a little bit. So if you don't want to have that stress, then just play the 2. Alright, so in depth, just talking about it again, these 2 bars. Starting with 5 on my ring finger, back to the index, open, probably, back to 4th on the D string, and probably with my middle finger because it's nice and strong, and then that can slide up to 9th as well. So, counting you in so you get an idea of how that feels. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just to clarify, hit the 4, slide, and then hit the 9. So you get all that nice slidey time before you hit the 9 again. And just to clarify there, guys, I'm kind of mixing that up. So I didn't start with my blue note, I started with the open note. And that's kind of because I thought it was more important I hit the 9, you know? I might not if I'm too worried about the 7. So you can mix and match these, do whatever works for you. So with the 7, let's see how it sounds, shall we? So I'll count you in case you want to join in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, slide. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And did you see it wasn't my middle finger anymore, it was my index. So again, showing you again with the blue notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like I said, it's very much down to personal preference on how you play this, whether you play it with the blue notes or the black notes, or mix and match. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so looking ahead at the next 2 bars, you'll notice that they're identical to the first 2 bars. So we're just going to carry on, because you know how to play that. 2, 3, 4, and then we have our new information. Let's start with the black notes first. We've got a 1 over there on our A string. Let's move this hand up a little bit so you can see. Then open. And then 5, 7. I haven't substituted this one because I don't think it's as neat. Because you kind of want to hammer on a little bit. Whether you use these 2 fingers or your index and your middle. Quite like it with my index and my middle. And then slide back onto the 2. If I use the open A, it's a little bit messy. It's also a lot slower. And it hasn't got that smoothness. I have to really clunkily move my hand a bit more, especially in this position, which isn't great. So I would recommend you go to 5, find 7 with your fingers first, and you practice hammering on and pulling off. So the reason we're doing this fast is because we got stripy notes there. We got 16th notes or semiquavers. So they're fast. Okay, let's keep doing this for a second. So we're on our D string, pluck it, throw it down, pull it straight off. And from there, just slide down to 2. You can play it if you want to. So you'd go, and again you'd hammer on, slide, play, like so. So that whole bar, if I miss out the blue notes, is going to sound like this. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's do that one more time. Why not? It's good practice. Counting you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can see it's just a 2 again. 1, 2, 3, and then we have a 2 on the 4. But before we get to that, a lot of 4s in that sentence, let's look at those blue notes, because you could do it that way. So in which case I'd start on my ring finger over here on the 8. So I've talked about this before, but use your dots to help you on your mandolin. Try and memorize that that first one is 3, second one is 5. Even if you don't want, start again. Even if you don't have one on 3, you definitely should have one on 5. I'd be surprised if you didn't. So from 5 you can navigate and go, okay, so from there the next one should be 7, and then it's just 1 past it. So use your dots to help you. So 8, 7 with my middle, because that sets me up nicely with my index and middle, and then slide back to the 2. That bit's the same. So ring, middle, index, hammer on, slide. One last time. Ring, middle, index, slide. Let's see if you can do it. So counting you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So there you go, that's that bar. Do you know what, before we head on, because you can see that it's going to land on another 2 in a minute, let's just make sure we can sight read that bit, shall we? So that you've got a nice big chunk that you feel good about. So from the beginning, as far as that 2 before the lightning bolts, or where the crotchet rests come in. Okay, so from the beginning, decide now whether you want to use the black notes or the blue notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But don't worry, I didn't tell you had to play that bit anyway, so that's good. Good, so hopefully you could see from that there are benefits to maybe the black notes, there are benefits to the blue notes. And it really is just up to your playing position and how you feel at the time, and also if you're tremoloing, that really does come into it quite a bit. But it's more or less fairly friendly. Just a quick top tip from what I just did as well. It's just sprung into my mind. You'll notice that I might have had the 5 for a long time. 1, 2, 3, and then I would have come up here maybe. But I stopped squeezing, so I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So in other words, I used my free time, my space, so I decided I wouldn't hold it for the full 4, I'd hold it for 3 or 3.5. Stop squeezing. So you can see the pressure comes off, squeezing, not squeezing, squeezing, not squeezing. So I would not squeeze, move into position, and then I'd get it nice and clean. Otherwise, I might get something like this. Did you hear it? That slight pull off, which will irritate the heck out of you. Oh, sorry, start on 5, I'll show you again. We all get things like this, especially if we're tired, you know? And we're not quite concentrating, so it's something to just be aware of. Get that control when you're playing by squeezing when you want it to sound and not squeezing when you don't. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. And bear in mind, you're probably going to find this slightly boring to start with, but with tremolo it's a lot more interesting. So just keep telling yourself that. When I get my tremolo on it, it's going to be a lot more interesting. So starting from that last bar of all the lightning bolts or crotchet rests or quarter note rests in it, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from there, we would be coming up to 5. So if my index is on the 2, I'm going to reach over to 5 with my ring finger. And you can see it's just going to walk down like that. I might slide that one so I don't have to move my hand. So I'm pretty sure you can sight read this, guys. This is all crotchets, all quarter notes. It's all T, 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 etc., etc. So you'll be fine. So let's just take it from that bar with the quarter note rests, or the crotchet rests, lightning bolts, however you want to refer to them. Those little things that look like bats, let's take it from that bar. So we're going to go, let's bring this hand back up. We're going to go, counting you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I told you it was pretty simple, right? And of course, I know that that can be boring, so if you want to tremolo it, you can, but while we're keeping it simple, you could practice your alternate pickings. You could go down, up, 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 down, up. Because it's all good practice anyway, plus you're halfway there to tremolo, right? So let's do it one more time together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, and then from there you would go round again. And you would keep going right up to that second line, so I'll go from my 8. Oh, sorry, I meant to just go 2, 2. Got carried away. 2, 2. And then the piece would be over. Alright? So you can see it is fairly simple. It's the tremolo that's going to take it up a notch. And I shall just take this opportunity to remind you I am on Udemy. There's a link to my course on how to play tremolo. It's just in the description box below. And it should help you out with this one. I'm going to talk about tremolo in a second. Before I do, I want you to go over to the next video I'm going to make. I'm going to put it on the play along playlist, and you can play along nice and simply with this one. So get it simple first, get it in your fingers first like this without any tremolo on it at all, okay? Once it's in there, then you can have a go at the tremolo, or I advise you have a go at the tremolo then, okay? You don't have to listen to me. It's just my advice. So try that first. Okay, so if we're using tremolo on this, then we're going to do a hallelujah for every crotchet or quarter note beat. For every time we would have gone T, 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 we're going to go hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It can be as fast as that or as slow as you like. It really is up to you. If you're a beginner at this, then please do go and check out my Udemy course, but you'd be going down, up, down, up. So hallelujah is one of them. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. All right, and then if you put it together, if I move my hand back down over the sound hole, so I've got a better angle. So that's how that would sound if it's faster. But you can hear, it still sounds a little bit strange, right? So you kind of want to just get that shake going. So you start with a hallelujah and you build on it from there. And so you can do basically twice the amount of hallelujahs per crotchet or quarter note. So you're going like that. Oh, and one final point that I don't want to forget. When you get to the stripey bit, just do that. Don't tremolo it, because it'll be a little bit messy. So just hammer on, pull off, go back. Okay? Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there you go, that's it all the way through with some tremolo. And like I said, head on over to my other video and we can play along to some guitar backing together, which would be great. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!